Who is the best player in the world right now?
Well, the obvious answer is to say a big name, and it will be a big name. But I'm gonna. Do you know what? I'm gonna go. I'd normally go for somebody like Mbappe or somebody who's an all-round brilliant player. But you cannot ignore Erling Haaland, as in, and when you say he's the best player in the world, you go, well, no, he isn't, because he can't do this, he can't do that. The hardest thing in football is to put the ball in the net. His numbers again have surpassed last year, so I'm going for Erling Haaland for his goals.
And how much would the Prime Lee Dixon cost in today's game?
Well, I had an argument with ChatGPT the other day about this. I asked how much I would, and then it went, 10 million. And I went, so I replied and I went, that doesn't seem like a lot. What, he won four league championships. And then he went, it's a very good point. And then he bumped it up to 25. So I'm going to go, I don't know, I'm going to go 30 million.
Even that
Too
feels
much.
conservative in this day and age.
35.
It's obviously, you mentioned fullbacks have changed a bit, but I'm curious, who in today's game reminds you of your own playing style?
I'd quite like to be like Timber, but I think I'm more of a. He's got quite a lot of traits I had. I think he's better than me, but I somebody like Trippier. He's kind of that type of fullback, tenacious, decent going forward. I'd go for Trippier, somebody like that. But I want to be Timber.
And what's one player you would never want to face again?
Rivaldo. I played against him twice for Barcelona in the Champions League, and I swear, as he's standing in front of me, he didn't know what he was going to do with the ball. So if he didn't know what he was going to do, how am I supposed to work out what he's going to do? He was one of those players who was just so off the cuff. There was no pattern to him. You couldn't work him. Giggsy was phenomenal, and I hated playing against him. Well, I didn't hate playing. I enjoyed playing against him because it was a proper challenge. He was the hardest, most repetitive winger I played against. It was like, oh my god, you never got an easy game with him. But Rivaldo standing in front of you, he was like, he didn't know what he was going to do, and so I was like, I couldn't work him out. He's really one of those players, so I wouldn't like to play against him again.
Who was one of the most underrated players that you played with?
David Rocastle. Blast from the past, isn't it? He was a phenomenal athlete, phenomenal footballer, beautiful man, absolute legend of Arsenal, and didn't play enough for England, I didn't think, and had a couple of knee injuries, and that held him back. But absolutely, you could rely on him. He'd do nearly all my work for me. He'd work that hard in front of me, and a brilliant runner with the ball. So I'd go, David Rocastle.
And who was the biggest joker in the dressing room you were in as a player?
It's just an absolute pleasure to be in a dressing room with him. But a pain at times when because he'd come in, he wasn't always laughing and joking. He'd come in miserable and grumpy like we all did. But he was even funny when he was miserable and grumpy because he'd be having a go at somebody. So there was never any respite from him. And he would definitely, if you came into the dressing room a little bit down, within 5 minutes of him being in there, you were laughing or, screaming at him or something. So, yeah, righty.
What was his style? Was he playing like practical jokes, or was he just a bit of a mouth all the time?
Oh, always a mouth, yeah. Just non-stop. He'd give you a head, but anything. He'd practical joke. He was in every conversation. Great storyteller. And one of my good mates in football. And he's always. I work with him now at ITV. He's absolute. When he walks into the Winnebago before a game or a show, he lights the place up. A lovely, lovely man.
I feel like this might be the same answer here, given all the brand deals he gets lately. But who was the most stylish teammate you ever had?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he's upped his game a little bit, but he'd always wear the hat, the scarf, and we kind of over the years, we've kind of bought each other a few presents here and there for birthdays and Christmas, and I always kind of try and get him something a little bit different, a little scarf or something from California when I'm out there, and I bring something back for him. And you have to think about it for Wright. He's got a very stylish way about him, and now obviously you're right. You can't pick up a flipping magazine without him being in it, showing some article of clothing off. So he's I'd say Wrighty.
And who do you think had the worst fashion sense?
Oh my god. Oh, easy. I'd go for Igor Stefanovs, who had a very unusual collection of jumpers, shall we say. So yeah, Igor was, what a lovely guy he was. Big centre half, and wore a jumper or two that was just horrific. Not even Christmas either. I mean, I've got a few Christmas ones. I've just took one off because I thought I can't go on screen with this on, so I took it off. But he wouldn't take anything off. He loved a jumper.
Do you know what? That was such a left field answer. I was convinced you were going to say someone like David Seaman.
I'm going to tell him you said that.
I know, I'm devastated now. Come get me. Lee, that was an absolute pleasure, mate. I really enjoyed that.
Mate. Cheers, Tom. Good fun.